Wir freuen uns auf einen tollen Europapokalnachmittag und wünschen einen fantastischen Spiel. A warm welcome this afternoon's UEFA Youth League match between the Young Boys and Atalanta Bergamo. A special warm welcome to our visitors from Italy. UEFA Youth League is a great of European journey. We kindly ask you all to support UEFA's goal for respect towards players, referees, officials, and fellow supporters. Racism has no place in football. We ask you to support our initiative for European football to say no to racism and to join this afternoon's match. This afternoon we are here to demonstrate European football.
Make sure. And Ladea, no. 3 points here. And they are through. So we're underway. Young boys in their traditional yellow and black, Atalanta in a changed all-white strip. It's only their third appearance in the UEFA Youth League. They qualified 4 times, but one of those was the 2020-21 campaign that was cancelled due to the COVID pandemic. Reached the last 16 in the 2019-20 season. That was their best performance. And here's Beldo, played out wide to Artisani. Beldo on the turn and fires that into the side netting. You can see how heavily it snowed by the pile of snow all around the perimeter of this multi-use pitch. Here's Ubazaks. Young boys' best performance in the UEFA Youth League. Saw them make it through to the playoff round, but that was having come through the Champions route. They've never actually qualified from a group stage. This, of course, a league stage now. And with that first win in the bag against Aston Villa, it was looking good for them, but not since. Now find themselves out of those qualification positions. 3 points, 2 behind Monaco. The side holding on to 22nd spot, coming into what is the penultimate round of league stage games. Throw for young boys. Andre Niederhauser, 36-year-old, who took over in September. No Italian club, remember, has ever won the UEFA Youth League. Milan came the closest last season, becoming the first Italian side to reach the final. Inter have certainly made a good start this season, though, and Atalanta too. Free kick here for young boys. Clipped into the danger zone, solid header away by Tavanti. And now Bomo. Cross back into the centre, it's a free header. And young boys take the lead inside 3 minutes. Yanis Luti. It's a lovely delivery in. And Luti on hand to head home for the Swiss side. And that is the perfect start for them. First goal of the UEFA Youth League for Yanis Luti. And what a start for young boys who are so desperate for the points here. Perfectly weighted delivery. And just over the head of Samuele Gaze, who'd come in on the left side. Yanis Luti just finding space between his 2 markers and heading the ball past Eduardo Zanchi, who's barely had time to settle into the team. Replacing the suspended Pardell, who was sent off against Stuttgart. Here's Fiogbe. He's a real threat on the left side of the Atalanta attack. 3 goals so far. Scored in the 4-1 win against Arsenal. Scored a couple in the 3-0 win against Shakhtar Donetsk. Menkeralia to deliver the corner. Whips it across. Solid header away from Damjanovic. Bomo chasing after that one. Javison Adele with the throw. And a header from Jos. The flag is up. It's gone out for a throw. Giovanni Bozzi, 55-year-old. He's been in charge since May of last year. Former coach of Palermo and Treviso. Menkeralia to deliver the corner again. Central midfielder. Whips it across again, but another fine header away by Yetzer this time. And the flag up. December the 10th, the final game for Atalanta. We're hoping to be qualified by the time they entertain Real Madrid in Bergamo. Young boys with 2 games to finish off. This one here against Atalanta. Tavanti. Gezi. Forward by Tavanti. Gezi's throw. Brigant got his head to it. Foot in by Menkeralia. Beldo's little flick. Riccio was looking to get on the end of that, but was beaten to it. Scrappy passage of play. Atalanta have it now. Menkeralia, who's seeing a lot of the ball in that central midfield area. He's the player over the set pieces as well, generally. Here's Gezi, steps away from Brigant. Sousa Brigant, the Italian in the young boys' ranks. Here's Adele. Adele again. Tries to clip the ball across. It's just drifted behind the... Back with Ubazak. Now Bomo's touch to Yetzer. Simba. Well, he would have been the player, really, that you would normally expect to get on the end of that delivery into the penalty area, but it was Yanis Luti, the right-sided midfielder. Timed his run and jump to perfection. And Atalanta with a bit of work to do. Tavanti. Bit of space now for Gezi, who gets the cross in. It was a spot-on delivery. Artisani unable to head it in. Adele fires it back into the danger zone. And Damjanovic gets it away. Well intercepted, though, by Sousa Brigant. There's Tavanti. Back to Zanki. I don't think it touched the ball, Eddie, before it had flown past him. Just 2.5 minutes on the clock. On by Jetzer. Now Damjanovic. Challenged by Bilac. Bilac, the Slovenian centre-back, alongside Matija Tavante in there for Atalanta today. Tristan Jost scored a couple of goals, scored in the 4-2 loss against Barcelona and the 3-2 defeat here to Inter on match day 3. Quite a tough draw, actually, in terms of the games that they have to play, young boys. It's flicked across, nobody in there, though, in yellow. Here's Luti. Looking to go on the outside of Getzi, who sees it behind for a goal kick. And after beating Aston Villa, they then travelled to Barcelona, lost 4-2. Young boys in that one, beaten here 3-2 by Inter, the only team to have guaranteed themselves qualification after 4 rounds of matches. And then lost 3-2 away to Shakhtar before their final 2 games against Atalanta and Stuttgart. Trying to work the shot, but Artisani closed out. Stuttgart currently 4th in the table, Atalanta 6th, so tough couple of games to try and pick up the points they need. Probably going to need 3 or maybe 4 to make it through, young boys, so need to win one of those last 2, and they've certainly made a good start here. Jost. Bomo. Spread out to Itoski. It's behind Rufiner, but here's a chance here for Jost. Weaves his way through. Oh, the angle getting tighter all the time. It almost fell for Luti. And Atalanta clear it away. Here's Fiogbe. Into Riccio, pulls the trigger and forces the save out of Jan Ubezak. Good counter from Atalanta. Spectacular dive and held on to it as well, Jan Ubezak. Plucked it out of the air. A problem at the other end here for young boys. First chance really that Candace Fiogbe had to run at the young boys' defence. Thumbs up, so that's positive. Some discussion here with Candace Fiogbe as to when he can come back on. Contested drop ball for Jan Ubezak. Sousa Bregan to Lazar Damjanovic. Now Jetzer. Bit of space here for young boys. Rufiner. There's Bregan. Couple of step overs and finds Luti, the goal scorer, in space. Delivers it to the edge of the box. Rufiner hits it. And off target. And it's certainly been a bright start for young boys, not just the goal. They've gone in search of a second. Atalanta, apart from that Riccio effort that was plucked out of the air by Ubezak, haven't created a great deal so far. But here's Fiogbe. Atalanta throw.
Come on,
7 different Atalanta players have found the back of the net in their opening 4 UEFA Youth League stage matches. Fiogbe with 3 and Camera with 2 are their leading goal scorers. Henri Camera is amongst the Atalanta substitutes this afternoon. .14.5 gone. Menkaralia delivers the ball in. Solid header away by Damjanovic. Haven't cleared their lines yet, young boys. Yetzer got something on that. And Getzi wins it back. Here's Menkaralia for Atalanta. Now Beldo. Fiogbe. A lot of Atalanta's work is coming down this near side with Fiogbe and Riccio. Samuele Getzi with the throw. Header away by Damjanovic. Tower of strength in the centre of that young boy's defence. Lazar Damjanovic, he's won just about every header so far that it's been asked of him. Jost. Too much on that though for Ruffiner. Not the best of clearances by Zanki. He got lucky that it fell for Javison Adele. Bregant with the foot in. Header on by Bomo. Now Toski. Force wide. And then force back to Lauren Yetzer. Here's Bregant. And that's going to be a throw for young boys. Two clubs from Switzerland in the UEFA Youth League this season. Young boys the only side in the league stage, but Basel are in the Champions path through to the 3rd round. As that throw's gone right the way through to Zanki. Basel face Rapid Vienna over 2 legs to try and make it into the knockout stage. Young boys will be hoping to join them there. Crossing now to Luti. Blocked by Getzi. And a bit of space now for Candace Fiogbe. Sousa Bregant backing off. He's made it into the penalty area, Fiogbe, and went for the far corner. You can see what he was trying to do, but got the shot horribly wrong, Fiogbe. Yeah, he's frustrated with himself. But young boys won't want to isolate Sousa Bregant on Fiogbe one-on-one too many times. It's already shown in this year's competition that he's quite adept at finding the back of the net. Here's Bomo. Yetzer. Toski. Majorly under pressure and then was fouled as he released the ball. Free kick for young boys. Finished 5th in the regular Swiss season. Last season in the under-19s, were beaten in the semi-finals. Qualified as a result of their senior team being in the Senior Champions League. Which is why the Champions route is so important. Gives an opportunity to those clubs whose senior side haven't qualified for the Champions League, but they themselves are the under-19 champions, such as Basel. We've had a couple of winners come from the Champions route in recent times. Damjanovic. Damjanovic. Uberzax was very nearly closed down by Beldo. Damjanovic into Bomo. Clips it through towards Luti. And now Beldo. Yetzer across, got the foot in. Tristan Jos keeps it in play. And that's a good ball over the top for Felix Simba. Can Simba finish? He can! It's 2-0 to Young Boys. And what an opening 20 minutes for the Swiss side. Cool as you like finish from Felix Simba. And Eduardo Zanchi beaten again. Well, Atalanta not happy. Lorenzo Riccio talking to the referee about something or another, but Felix Simba scores his third goal of this season's league stage. Lovely ball from Tristan Jost over the top, catching out the entire Atalanta defence, and that's a good finish. See many a striker miss those, but not Felix Simba. Perfectly weighted ball. Great first touch, and what a neat finish as well from the Young Boys centre forwards. And what a turn up in the opening 20 minutes here. Young Boys 2, Atalanta 0. Atalanta, the side 6th in the table with 9 points after winning their opening 3. 2 goals down here to Young Boys, who have won just the 1 and lost 3 of their opening 4. Did beat Aston Villa here, remember. But Inter came here, the league leaders, and won 3-2. Lost both their away games so far, Young Boys. Here's Bregan. Being the inaugural season of the league stages in this competition and in the senior competitions as well, there's no real precedent as to how many points will get you through. They know that 12 will be enough. Atalanta were hoping to wrap that up today, but they've got a bit of work to do if they're going to do that now. 2-0 down inside 20 minutes through Luti and Simba. And they're worth the lead, Young Boys. Damjanovic. Riccio. Clipped out by Menkeralia and given away to Bregan. And that's a lovely little touch, and they could be away again here. It's played through to Atoski, but too much on it from Jost. Beginning to run the midfield now, Tristan Jost. No doubt buoyed by that beautiful ball through to set up Simba's goal. Yetzer with the foot in. You do tend to think with 9 points, Atalanta should be okay. Throw from Getzi. Beldo. But they certainly don't want to leave it to chance. In the last match against Real Madrid, who themselves have work to do to make sure, as do Atletico Madrid. They're on 6 and 5 points. Awful lot of teams around that 5, 6, 7, 8 point mark. Menkeralia with the corner. Whipped into the far post. Uberzax was nowhere near it. And now the counter on again here from Atoski. Good run by Atoski. Here's Simba. Oh, went for the far post when perhaps the ball back to Atoski was the one to be played. Second to everything at the moment, Atalanta. And the way Toski there, brushed by Javison Idele. Will be a real concern for Atalanta, apologies. Here's Zubazaks. Damjanovic. Here's Damjanovic again. Touch from Luti. Touch back from Simba. And clipped out by Bomo towards Itoski. They're playing some really neat football now. Ademi just needed the final touch to that. That's going to be a corner. Deflected behind off Federico Stefanoni. Struggled to have an impact on the game at all, Stefanoni. Atalanta struggling, but Andre Niederhauser will be delighted with the way his young boys' side have started this game. Corner headed away by Menkeralia, and then driven back in first time straight at Zanchi. Couldn't do a lot about either of the goals, Eduardo Zanchi. Bullet header from Luti, and then the one-on-one with Felix Simba that was well finished. Here's Tavanti. Getsi up in support. This is Menkeralia. Tavanti. For the run in behind of Nicolo Baldo, but cut out by Damjanovic. He and Jetzer have defended really well so far. Now Jost out to Luti. On again by Jost. Well, they've won their last 3 at home, all domestic games, young boys, since the 3-2 loss against Inter last month. That was their last home game, the defeat to Inter in this competition. But they had won 2 in a row here prior to that. Well, those 2 wins, they're only 2 in the last 5 prior to today. Straight into the hands of Zanchi. Now, UEFA Youth League record at home isn't particularly good. They've won just 3 of their last 12, 8 defeats, going back through the years of this tournament. That's a corner. Hadn't actually played in the UEFA Youth League prior to the 2018-19 season, young boys, but they've featured in every competition since then. Menkeralia back on his feet and okay. They won't want to lose him from the centre of the midfield. The young boys trying to eke out a 3rd goal here. Header on by Luti. Atalanta get it away. It was another heart-in-mouth moment, though, for the Italian side. Well played by Bomo. Whipped across by Jetzer. Centre-back finding himself on the right wing. Here's Fiogbe. Getsi. A breakdown in communication there for Atalanta. Stefanoni putting it out for a throw. It sums up the way the opening half an hour has gone for Atalanta. They have been second best. This is their final away game of the league stage. Off the back of that 4-1 loss against Stuttgart, which ended a run of 2 away wins, albeit 3 years apart. Beat Shakhtar Donetsk 3-0. in October in this year's competition. Prior to that, their last away win was 3-2 away at Young Boys. What odds on Atalanta repeating that scoreline this afternoon? Doesn't look promising for them, though, the way that Young Boys have started the game. Goal back, though, could suddenly change everything. Ubazaks has been pretty comfortable so far in the Young Boys goal. Here's Bomo. Yetsa. Break through the middle again. The touch off from Simba to Atoski. Important foot in by Bilach. Ball stayed in play, though, and Atalanta get it away. Header by Ademi. Forward by Menkaralia for Fiogbe to chase, but Ubazaks did well to keep abreast of the situation. Quickly out of his penalty area to clear. Bomo. It's a wayward ball from Atoski. Straight to Stefanoni. Spreads it out to Artisani. Now Tavanti. Getzi. Getzi. Trying to drag the ball away from his two markers, but there was no room to work with, really. Here's Getzi again. Skips on the outside of Luti, who got his foot to it and put it behind for a corner. Italy represented by 6 clubs in the UEFA Youth League this season. Sassuolo face Real Betis in the 3rd round of the Champions route. Sassuolo, the under-19 champions. Inter already through. Atalanta looking good. Milan and Bologna, though, both with work to do, lying 30th and 33rd. The cross has gone right the way through. Not sure there was any touch on that, so it's a goal kick for Young Boys. Have been Primavera champions at under-19s levels 4 times. Atalanta, the last of them in 2020. Finished 4th in the regular season last season and reached the Campionato Primavera playoffs. Menkaralia. Idele. Oh, good work, good ball into the centre. Should have been a goal back. Riccio denied by Ubazak. Riccio again has a second bite and this time finds the target. Lorenzo Riccio has Atalanta finally up and running in the game. Well, it was he who first tested Ubazaks from distance. Ubazaks making a better save with the first attempt in the last move. But the ball finding its way back to Lorenzo Riccio. Good save from Ubazak. But a lovely little drag back from Riccio onto the left foot. And tucked it into the far corner past Ubazaks. It's Young Boys 2, Atalanta 1. And now it is very much game on for the Italians. Just as it seemed as though the game was getting away from them. Young Boys 2 up and looking good for that lead. Atalanta chipping their way back into the contest. The chance that Riccio scored actually was more difficult than the one that saw Ubazaks deny him just a couple of seconds before. Here's Bomo. Foul against Stefanoni. Giovanni Bozzi will be feeling a little better about things, even though it hasn't been the best first half from his side. Bomo. Here's Jost. Oh, slipped by Yetzer. Well, both high-scoring teams. Atalanta scored 10 in their opening 4 matches. Young Boys 8. So averaging over 2 a game, these two sides. Tavanti. And you can see why. It's been a really entertaining opening 35 minutes. Gets his throw. Too much on it, though, for Fiogbe. That's why you had the feeling it was far from over when Young Boys were humming at 2-0 up. Toski. Stefanoni with the foot in. Here's Bilach. Clipped away by Zanki. Young Boys threatening to get in again. Toski almost finding a way through. Here's Javison Adele, though, for Atalanta. Now Riccio. Dele still forward. Riccio lays it out to Artigiani. Good challenge by Anis Ademi. But Adele wins it back for Atalanta. Gets the cross in. Oh, it's off the crossbar from Fiogbe. So unlucky. And an inch or so away from making it 2-2. And Atalanta have suddenly woken up in this contest. Getzi. Fiogbe. Well, that could and perhaps should have been the equaliser for Atalanta. Here's Menkaralia. They're looking more like the team now that started this league stage with 3 straight victories. Here's Bomo. Only twice before have they competed in this competition. The last 16 exit in 2019-20 and a group stage exit a couple of seasons ago. Toski's header on. Bilach was always favourite, though, to get there ahead of Felix Simba. Now Tavanti. Getzi in support alongside him. Menkaralia in the centre. Preg out with the foot in. And here's Ruffner. Now Jost. Clipped through by Jost to Luti. And he's overrun it. Goal kick for Atalanta. Fabulous header. So unlucky. Great delivery. Ubazak's beaten, but the crossbar not. And it remains at 2-1. Simba. Needs a bit of help here, Simba. Carries the ball away, keeps possession. Here's Damjanovic. Bomo. Jost. It's been the standout in the midfield. Here's Yetzer. This is better by Young Boys, getting their passing going again. Ruffner. Jost. Clips the cross in. It's a lovely delivery, and the header off target in the end by Toski. Just settled down a bit again now, Young Boys, having had a bit of a wobble following the Riccio goal. Fiogbe could easily have made it 2-2. Here's Riccio. Fiogbe with a bit of space. Wastes no time in getting the cross in, but Lauren Yetzer was there to clear. Menkaralia. Here's Getzi. Now back with Eduardo Zanchi. Getzi did well to come up with the ball there, clipped in towards Baldo, who was beaten to it. Put in by Menkaralia, wins the ball back for Atalanta. They just as quickly give it away. Here's Zatoski. Bomo. Yost picks out Luti. So's Bregan outside him. Luti finds Simba. Simba whips the ball across to the back post, and it's deflected wide from Itoski. Really good football again by young boys. Great work from Simba. And Adele getting his chest in the way of that one. Danger far from over, though, for Giovanni Bozzi's side. Ademi. It's a good delivery, and Damjanovic was up there. Gone on the end of that, but an easy gather in the end for Eduardo Zanchi. 4 minutes left of a first half that's flown by. Luti and Simba putting young boys 2 up inside 20 minutes. Riccio pulling one back for Atalanta before Candace Fiogbe hit the crossbar with a header. Bilac. Here's Tavanti. Tavanti back with Zanchi. Idele. No, Ademi wins it back. Is Itoski. Feeds it all the way back to Ubazaks. Fiogbe. Now Riccio, surrounded by yellow shirts, held the ball up well though for Gezi. Menkaralia. Well, it was always going to be closed down. He telegraphed that somewhat. Clipped away by Ubazaks. Simba beaten by Bilac. Here's Tavanti. Now Fiogbe. Riccio playing the 1-2 with Baldo. Referee trying to wave play on as the ball is fed in. And as it didn't find the head of Baldo, a free kick has been given for Atalanta. That's good refereeing that, because it did look as though there was a genuine advantage. Fiogbe whipping that across and gathered by Ubazaks. But could easily have found the head of Nicolo Baldo. Does like to hold the ball, Ubazaks. It's a skill from a bygone era in many ways. So often now goalkeepers like to punch or parry the ball away. What can they work here, Atalanta, with 90 seconds left of the regulation 45 in this first half? It is Riccio into the wall and deflected behind off Jacques Bomo for a corner. Be desperate to get to the break with a lead intact, Young Boys. Looked as though they were going to be in for a very comfortable afternoon the way they started the game, but Atalanta very much back in it now. Filippo Mencaralia with the corner. Solid header away by Simba. Second ball floated in, and then the header is off target. I think it was Riccio who got on the end of that. Well, Atalanta have certainly been the better side since Riccio's goal. Unlucky not to be level. Young Boys still looking a genuine threat in the final third when they get forward. Ghezi's header away. Flicked on by Baldo, just a minute to be added on. It's a game that hasn't had many stoppages. It's flowed right from the kickoff. Been some terrific football from both teams. Luti with the throw. It's his goal that started the first half fun here after just 3 minutes. It's the top of Simba's head. Here is Yanis Luti. Wins it back, Bomo. Lovely ball down the line to Luti. And Tavanti steps across and clears. Bregant's throw. Cleared by Tavanti. And that is the final action of a thoroughly entertaining first half. Yanis Luti putting Young Boys in front as early as the 3rd minute after they really went for the throat of Inter. Terrific performance in the opening half an hour with Jost and Bono dominating the midfield. And it was Jost who set Felix Simba away to score the second on 20 minutes. It looked as though Young Boys would be cruising towards their second win of the league stage. But a goal back from Lorenzo Riccio on 33 and a header off the bar by Candace Fiogbe has them perhaps thinking otherwise. Second half to look forward to then. It's Young Boys 2, Atalanta 1 at half-time. Feeling is that 9 points may well be enough anyway to see them through, but Young Boys just have to pick up as many points as possible in their last 2 games, currently 2 points shy of making the knockout stages via a group or league stage for the first time in their history. The only time they played in the latter knockout rounds was when they came through the Champions route and reached the playoffs. Here's Tavanti. Out towards Fiogbe. Who looked every bit the threat that was suggested. Ahead of kickoff, Candace Fiogbe within an inch of levelling for Atalanta. Here's Tavanti. Bilach alongside him, so it looks as though Simonetto has come on at left back in place of Ghetzi, a straight swap. Mencaralia cleared away by Anis Ademi. Javison Adeli with the throw. Artesani trying to pick his way through. Down the line for Simba to chase and cleared away by Mattia Tavanti. Yetsa. Now Damjanovic. On to Sousa Bregan. Ademi. Daly's throw to Baldo. Picked up by Yost. Now Bregan back to Tristan Yost, who certainly produced the pass of the match so far when he sent Simba through for the second young boys' goal. Here's Yetza. Out to Atoski, who clips it away from Adeli. He's had a difficult time of it, Adeli, in dealing with the trickery and pace of Edin Atoski in the first half. Very animated, isn't he, Giovanni Bozzi, on the touchline for Atalanta. Nademi. Yetza into Simba. Tried to lay it off first time, but Filippo Mencaralia wins it back. Here's Damjanovic. Luti. Space now for Sousa Bregan. Heavy touch from Ademi. Allowed Stefanoni to step in and get it away, but it's back with Luti. Whips the ball across. It was a teasing delivery. Just too much pace on it, though, for Atoski. Yetza. Now Adeli with the throw. Header on towards Atoski, who was beaten to that by Artesani. Now Yetza. Oh, Lazar Damjanovic lost his footing. And it's a poor clearance from the goalkeeper, who makes up for it, Ubazaks. Well, it would have been a shambolic way to concede an equaliser. Lazar Damjanovic slipping, just did enough to poke the ball back to Ubazaks, who then completely miskicked it and played it straight to Federico Stefanoni. No harm done in the end, but didn't do an awful lot for their coach's heart rate. Here's Adeli. Artesani. Now Tavanti. Simonetto. Simba. Oh, he was strong there, Simba. Almost fell for Atoski. And towed away by Tavanti. Crucial intervention from the Atalanta centre-back, as Edin Atoski threatened again. There's Bomo. Now Yost. Ubazaks taking his time, waiting for options. Nobody really showing for him, so he's been forced to clip it out towards Atoski, who's done well. Touch off Adeli, it's a throw for young boys. Ademi. Bomo. Switches it out to Sousa Bregan. Luti outside him. Back from Yost to Damjanovic. Yetza alongside him. Atoski stepping away from Adeli. Over the top from Yetzer and gathered by Zanki. Atalanta throw. Half-time came at the wrong time, really, for Atalanta. They'd really played their way back into the game. Were looking the more likely team to score the next goal. And they were certainly the side, despite the fact they were behind with the rhythm going into the break. Yellow card for Jacques Beaumont. Not one of those in danger of suspension, like Simba and Ademi. Well, it wasn't for the challenge, it was for the hoofing the ball away after the free kick had been given right in front of the referee as well. Rather petulant way to get himself in the book. And now they've got a free kick to deal with. Riccio delivers to the back post and headed away by Anis Ademi. It's an Atalanta corner. Menkaralia with it. Played that into a good area, but nobody really attacked it. Driven back into the danger zone. Simba got a touch on it. No young boys can counter, maybe. Here's Jacques Beaumont. Held the play up and switched it to Yetzer. Damjanovic. Now Jost. Ademi. Stepping away from Artisani. Now Beaumont. Now this would be massive for young boys if they could pick up another win, move on to 6 points. Probably going to need more than that, though, if they are to make it through. Remember, Monaco in 22nd, the last qualification spot, currently are on 5. So they probably need a win here and a win again. The bonus might be, despite the fact that they face Stuttgart, the 4th place team in their final match, is that Stuttgart may well be through by the time young boys travel to face them. Here's Adele. Now Tavanti. Oh, that was a really strong tackle by Beaumont. He's going to go off here. Second yellow card for Jacques Beaumont. That was a crazy challenge to make, really, given that he'd just been booked for kicking the ball away. And young boys lose their captain, not only for the rest of this match, but for the potentially crucial trip to Stuttgart. You knew what was coming. Jacques Beaumont off, young boys down to 10. It's gone straight through Menkaralia. Well, he's claiming he got a touch on the ball, which he did, but took away both the legs of the Italian midfielder in doing so. And this could be a potentially pivotal moment in this tie. Young boys leading 2-1. But now down to 10. Here's Jost. I guess they're reorganised now by putting Elio Rufina dropping into midfield and leaving Simba up on his own. Looks as though that's what they're doing. Here is Rufina. Luti outside. Looking to take on Simonetto. Simba, heavy first touch. And that's a goal kick for Atalanta. Well, they may be behind, but has the pendulum swung massively towards the Italian side here? Just over half an hour, playing against 10 to score a couple of goals and ensure qualification with a game to spare. Simonetto. Paris Saint-Germain in 23rd have 4 points, so the ball played through the centre. The flag is up, though, against Riccio. So the most PSG and Dinamo Zagreb can get is 10 points, so 11 points guarantees qualification. And Omri Camara is about to come on for Atalanta. Header by Toski. Bilac. Now Artisani. Twisting and turning, good run by Artisani. Baldo couldn't hold it up. Young boys clear it away. Well, it really was ridiculous from Jacques Bomo. And to lose your midfield enforcer, your captain, in such a nonsensical way. Here's Ademi. The second challenge is one you could forgive in a normal way of things, but the fact that he'd just been booked for hoofing the ball away right in front of the referee to then put in that challenge was ridiculous. And young boys have a long way to go, holding on to this slender lead. Here's Ruffiner. Uber Sachs. It's over Simba. Itoski coming off the wing, but headed away by Bilac, by Stefanoni, and out by Damjanovic. Now Stefanoni. Too much on it for Baldo, though, well covered by Damjanovic. Back with Ubazak. Oh, and Damjanovic and Riccio running into each other. Referee just allowing the game to go on. Here's Simba. Tavanti. Simonetto. Camera still not on yet. Here's Idele. Can afford to throw an extra body forward now, Atalanta. Stefanoni, Idele, he's done well, whips the cross in, but too close to Ubazak. He's looked good going forward, Javison Idele, but has struggled a bit defensively when Edin Itoski has had a run at him. Artisani. In by Adele. Now Bilac to Tavanti. Good run forward, it's Riccio, it's 2-2. Atalanta level, and it has been coming. Lovely football, the young boys' defence cut apart, and Atalanta now just one goal without reply away from a place in the knockout stages. Young boys' early 2-goal advantage is wiped out as Lorenzo Riccio scores his second of the game. afforded too much time and space from what, about 14 yards out. Fine striker of the ball. We saw him denied by a couple of good saves from Ubazaks in the first half, but now he's helped himself to a couple, Riccio. Hadn't scored before today, but he's certainly been the man of the moment for Atalanta this afternoon. Young Boys 2, Atalanta 2. Now they make a change. Filippo Mencaralia replaced by Henri Camara. And Baldo has been replaced as well by Andrea Bonami. Double change. It was all looking so good for Young Boys, wasn't it, after 20 minutes? Really positive start. We're playing Atalanta off the pitch, in truth, and were well worth their 2-goal advantage, but Riccio's goal back just swung the game slightly. Fiogbe unfortunate not to level, but now Riccio has with his second. Oh, it's off the outside of the post from Fiogbe. Here's Bilak. Atalanta really need to keep up the momentum here. Artigiani. Bonanami. Fiogbe trying to work his way through. The turn and shot is off the post and away. Goodness me. So nearly 3-2 for Atalanta. And this game is there for the taking now for Giovanni Bozzi's side. Bilak. Tavanti. Bonanami. Idele. Well, the UEFA Youth League, of course, is all about progression and players learning their trade, and Jacques Bomo is going to learn a very valuable lesson this afternoon if Young Boys do ultimately lose this. His ill discipline certainly costing the Swiss side here. Atalanta taken complete control of the contest since the red card. Here's Jost. Still very dangerous in the final third, though, Young Boys, if they could work themselves an opportunity. Here's Bilak. On by Tavanti to Simonetto. Bilak. Idele. Etoski. Idele did enough to put him off. Tavanti clears it away to Artigiani. Now Camara. Camara, the player, in fact, who hit the outside of the post as opposed to Fiogbe. What an impact that would have been. Simonetto fires it across. Riccio sensing a hat-trick. Driven into a sea of yellow shirts and behind for a Atalanta corner from Simonetto. It's looking a matter of time now before Atalanta find a third goal. Whipped in by Riccio. Camara. Now Riccio. Cross in towards Camara. Header away by Damjanovic. Fiogbe on the end of it. Simonetto finds space, squeezes the ball through. but it's deflected behind for another Atalanta corner. And this is unsustainable from Young Boys. Being forced back now, chance after chance falling the way of Atalanta. It's a very different game to the opening half an hour. Delivery in, Damjanovic with the header away. Only as far as Stefanoni. Touch on by Bonanami. Stefanoni. Bonanami. Cross into the box again. Yetza heads it out. No foul. Luti breaking away and looking to relieve a bit of the pressure on the Young Boys' goal. Here's Adele. Simonetto. Bonanami. Idele. Now Artisani. Cuts in on that left foot, the header away by Yetza. Artisani. Camera. Bonanami. Terrific effort off the crossbar. Well, did Ubazak get something on that? I'm not sure, but what a strike that was from Andrea Bonanami. Second time they've hit the bar, Atalanta. And that low effort has squeezed through. And they do lead 3-2. Mauricio celebrates again. It is a hat-trick for the Atalanta midfielder. And it is Young Boys 2, Atalanta 3. And they are 20 minutes away from the knockout stages. What a performance from the midfielder Lorenzo Riccio. Well, it was coming. Bonanami had rattled the crossbar, and well, you wonder if Ubazak may well have kept that out, but it's squeezed between his arm and the near post. And Atalanta, from 2-0 down, lead by 3-2, courtesy of a Lorenzo Riccio hat-trick. Well, when you see the knee slide celebration, it just shows how much artificial surfaces have come on since the 80s. You'd have taken your knees off if you'd tried to do that on the old AstroTurf surfaces of that era. Tug on the shirt of Bonanami. Toski has been replaced by Makumi. And as the referee pointed to the spot here. Loris Makumi on for Toski. And the player penalised here, Tristan Yost. Yeah, he's tripped him all right. Candace Fiogbe, the player, fouled. And it is all falling apart here for Young Boys. And Candace Fiogbe, the player who was fouled, is stepping up to take it. 3 goals in the UEFA Youth League so far. Of course, Riccio has pulled level with him this afternoon. But a chance to move ahead again, which he does. Tucks it past the goalkeeper. It is 4 for Atalanta. And Candace Fiogbe has his goal. Young Boys 2, Atalanta 4. And Fiogbe, who scored against Arsenal, scored twice against Shakhtar Donetsk, has his name on the score sheet against Young Boys. And Young Boys' hopes of progression going up in smoke here. It's a clear foul by Yost. Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it, that he sent Simba away to make it 2-0. Well, at 2-1 up, and with 11 players on the field, they had a chance, but the sending off of Jacques Beaumont for 2 quick yellow cards in succession, their midfield enforcer, their captain, has proved very costly for Young Boys. Let's play through to the substitute here. Makumi, unable to take it in his stride though. Corner. Yost with it. Header away by Riccio. Now Bregan. Bonanami wins the ball back and then clips the ball over the top of that building there onto the other training pitch, the other side. Bregan's throw. Certainly wouldn't discount Young Boys from grabbing another goal in this game, but very hard to see them turning this around now. Here's Adele. Camera in support. Riccio in the centre. The cross in. Too high for Riccio. And here's Fiogbe. I know they're playing against 10, but they have been terrific, Atalanta, since the sending off of Jacques Beaumont. Stefanoni. Artisani whips it across and gathered by Ubazaks. Of course, games don't always go the way that you think when a team go down to 10. But Atalanta have certainly taken advantage of it. As things stand, they would move on to 12 points. That would be enough to see them through with Inter, who were already qualified after 4 games. Well, Young Boys would still be outside the top 22, heading for a 4th straight defeat. Here's Riccio, plays it in, and Fiogbe can't finish. Well, that was a really good chance. Didn't catch it at all well. Scored a penalty, hit the bar in the first half. It's not beyond the realms that Fiogbe could have had a hat-trick as well. Ademi. Now Makumi. Very, very difficult now to see Young Boys getting through, even if they were to win against Stuttgart. Not sure 6 points would be enough. Two attempts at clearing that away from Tristan Yost. Just a clinging on exercise now for Young Boys. Still quarter of an hour to go. They're in danger of a real hammering here if they're not careful. Made a couple of changes, by the way, out of shot. Mattia Bellino and Noah Shantz came on for Rufiner and Luti. Preparing another substitution now. Here is Makumi. That's a free kick and a yellow card coming out here. Ademi, the player replaced by Issa. Ron Issa coming on. Yeah, clear tug on the shirt by Adele, and that's going to mean a suspension for him. He won't be available for Atalanta's final match against Real Madrid. Riccio dealing with a bit of cramp now. From a day that didn't look as though it was going to be his day, that effort that was saved by Ubazaks, and then the big chance that he missed just at literally seconds before he scored his first goal. Now it's turned into an afternoon to remember for Lorenzo Riccio, who is making way. It's a double change this for Atalanta. Luca Gobbo is on. Riccio is off. It's going to be replaced by Aragoni. Low free kick. And a touch back and a big deflection on the shot from Yetza. Looped over the top. Dele replaced by Luca Gobbo. So Dele's seen his last action of the league stage. He'll sit out the Real Madrid match, suspended now after that yellow card. Damjanovic. Jost. Created a goal in the first half and gave away a penalty in the second, Jost. 2 goals in a couple of minutes for Atalanta. Riccio's hat-trick, followed by Fiogbe's penalty. Camara, who's looked dangerous since coming on. Oh, he's gone down under the challenge. Referee says no. Issa. Now Makumi. Jost. Loses out to Bonamini. He's done well since coming on, actually. Space here now for Fiogbe. Good block from Damjanovic. Bonamini is the player down. The reaction was slightly over the top. There's a yellow card coming out here. Referee sort of hiding it behind his back. I wonder who it's for. Tristan Jost sees yellow, just to compound his afternoon. It started so promisingly for him, and generally, though, he's played pretty well, Jost. Fiogbe's corner. Dipping delivery. And that's going to be a goal kick. Here's Yetza. No Swiss club, by the way, has ever gone beyond the last 16. Basel managed that in the 2017-18 season, losing to Atletico Madrid by a goal to nil. Basel reached the playoffs last season, young boys in 2023. Doesn't look as though young boys are going to make it through. Basel, remember, in the Champions route. May well make it if they can see off Rapid Vienna over a couple of legs in the third round. There's Damjanovic. Atalanta have got a real chance if they can tighten up defensively. It's 14 goals now they've scored in this competition in what is their 5th match. Here's Jost. Jetzer. And that's a poor delivery from Makumi. Artesani. And back with Zanki. It looked as though it was turning into a pretty horrible afternoon for Eduardo Zanki, but he's been pretty comfortable since the concession of the 2nd goal. Didn't stand a chance with either of the opening Young Boys goals. Looked as though they'd reignited their charge for a place in the knockouts, but looks as though they're going to fall short again in a group stage or league stage from which they have never previously emerged. Fiogbe. Bonanomi tried to drag the ball back to Fiogbe, but too many yellow shirts in the way. Stefanoni. No Luca Gobbo. Artesani. Held up by Makumi. And Ron Isa is there to clip it away again to Makumi. Makumi. There's Jetzer. Damjanovic back to Ubazaks. There's Jetzer again. 5 minutes to go. Young Boys 2, Atalanta 4. Well, red card for Jacques Beaumont, the big turning point. Goal back from Riccio 12 minutes before half-time certainly changed the flow of the game. And it was anyone's guess which way it would go until the red card of Beaumont, and then since then it's been all Atalanta. Tristan Jost over this to try and give Young Boys some hope at least. It's gone right the way through. Makumi, and then Isa with the shot. Well played by Shantz. Jost. It's a good ball by Jost. Well taken down by Isa. Challenged by Gobbo. It's a Young Boys ball. Ron Isa with the corner, the 5th of the game for Young Boys. Atalanta more than double that. Makumi. Gobbo needed to make a decision there. I think he was hoping the ball would drift out of play. Got caught in two minds in the end, just put it behind for a corner. Young boys keep up this spell of pressure. Another chance for Iza to deliver. Which he does. Oh, it was a free header for Damjanovic and should have done better. Throw for Atalanta. That spell of pressure over, and that will be a concern. Candace Fiogbe holding the groin. All 5 changes already made for Atalanta. Away by Jost. Fiogbe. Challenged by Shantz. Here's Jost. Tavani is down for Atalanta, the centre-back. Back on his feet again now, though. Here's Jost. Yetzer. Quickly recovered when he realised he wasn't getting the decision. Here's Makumi. Second chance to deliver, puts it in high this time. Bellino challenging, but goes back to Zanki. Well, they haven't been as effective since all the changes either. The threats of Luti, Rufner, Simba, Toski, all taken out of the equation. All put in such a good shift in the first half. They were beginning to tire. And the likes of Bellino, Shantz, Sabano and Makumi haven't been as effective. Damjanovic. And the ball delivered early. Bilac with the header away. Counter-attack was potentially on from Artisani, but lost the ball. And that's an ambitious strike from there, and it's well wide in the end. Sousa Bregan. Gobo. Well, not like a foul. The referee happy to wave play on, though. Well played in the end by Lauren Yetzer. Artisani. Clipped over the top for Stefanoni to chase, but pace on the ball getting away from him. As we move into stoppage time, of which there will be 4 minutes. Bellino. On by Bragant. And that's deflected behind for a young boys' corner. An afternoon that started so brightly for the home team, but eventually chipped away into a comprehensive defeat. Seemed as though there was only going to be one winner this afternoon, the way they started. It was a mightily impressive opening half an hour before Atalanta got themselves together. Oh, the header down, it must be all tipped over the top. Tristan Jost had to score that, really. Headed it straight at Zanki, who did enough to tip it over. That really should have been 4-3. Still might be. Ron Izza with the corner. It's a good delivery as well. Header back in by Makumi. And then on by Yetzer and gathered by Zanki. And that spell of danger is over. Bragant's header. Bilac. Now Gobbo. Foot in by Makumi. Ball taken on by Gobbo. Simonetto. Sliding challenge from Damjanovic. Simonetto throw, finding Bonanomi. Here's Gobbo. Just beaten to that, though, by Yetzer, determined defending. And that's going to be a free kick. Jost. Well, his foul for the penalty really was the killer blow. Damjanovic. Neat little touch off by Bellino. Ball back to him, not the best, though. From Sousa Bregan. Tavanti. Camera trying to use the bounce of the ball and his strength to turn away from Yetzer, but there was too much bounce on the ball. Bilac. Almost there, Atalanta. Cut out by Yetzer. Now Jost. One last attack maybe for Young Boys. But that is it. Atalanta return to winning ways and can celebrate a place in the knockout stages with a game to spare. For Young Boys, it's simply a case of trying to win their last game against Stuttgart and hoping. But realistically, 6 points is not going to be enough for the Swiss side, who were looking well on course when Luti and Simba had them 2-0 up inside 20 minutes. A goal back from Lorenzo Riccio, though, 12 minutes before half-time, the first of a hat-trick for him, swung the game in Atalanta's favour. And then the sending off of Jacques Bomo, the Young Boys captain, for 2 yellow cards, minutes apart, proved to be the difference. Riccio completed his hat-trick, Fiogbe converted a penalty. It's finished Young Boys 2, Atalanta 4, and it is Atalanta who progress to the knockout stages.